We knew this was bound to happen, you know. Vanity Fair had an exclusive first look into Amazon's Lord of the Rings of Power, and to say fans have concerns is just putting it mildly. This steaming pile of dog shite that is being hauled once again right to the fandom's feet is trying to pass up for Tolkien-related content that has absolutely nothing to do with the man or his work. It sure boggles the mind to even think that the Tolkien estate was attached to this project by having something of a say in what was being done, really. It makes me question whether the auction for the rights to the appendices back in 2017 was even sanctioned by Christopher Tolkien himself in the first place, and if this show was not a reason, coupled with old age, for his stepping down from being Tolkien's executor, and even his death in 2020 was provoked by this. We say all this because it cannot really be understood why anyone who claims to love Tolkien's work would find it in their heart to be so disrespectful to his work, and at the same time so arrogant to even hint that they can do what the man couldn't in his lifetime. This is coming from what we learned from the Variety article, so we will be having a look into what was said. But before we go into that, the photos which compose this first look into the show don't help ease the concerns that fans have, and rather add to the outrage and the discontent and division within the Tolkien communities. And of course, you can expect lots and lots of name-calling and other dainties that we have come to expect in current year, whatever the year is since 2016, really. So, there are two sides basically that are fighting for these pictures, those who support and defend this and those who hate it. So, amongst the various pics that Vanity Fair released is the picture of what pretends to be a female dwarf. Fan outrage began when in said picture, the person in question is wearing no beard despite the fact Tolkien wrote in the appendices that accompany the Return of the King book that both male and female dwarves were so alike that they couldn't be told apart, meaning they also had beards, amongst other things, of course. The White Knights and Virtuous Signalers were quick also to answer that nobody had to watch the show if they were so upset with a dwarf not having a beard, and proceeded to call all of the other fans xenophobe epithets, disregarding the fact that this is in clear opposition to what Tolkien described as being a dwarf. The second visual bastardization of the work that outraged the fans came in the form of a sylvan elf with dark skin. The dark elves in Tolkien's work are not really dark, but those who never went to the Undying Lands to live with the Valar. In fact, elves are described as fair skin in Tolkien's work, but far be it for any of us to point out that to Amazon Studios this is canon, right? Because you are deemed an East and a Fove, which is not only ridiculous but getting quite tiresome. As for what was said in the article, and which angered me particularly the most, it's more important that to me, as opposed to the images, for example, the first thing was the description that we had of two key characters for the show, but who also appear in later works such as The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. We know their personalities, yet Amazon Studios once again decided to go against that by turning Galadriel into this Elden Ring generic-looking elf with a discount Brienne of Tart armor and turning her into commander of an army that sets out to sort of seek revenge for her brother's death. Excuse me, what? Galadriel never commanded an army. Even more confusing is to learn that a newly created character of the race of men, mind you, is stranded with her and both must figure things out on their own. It sounds like too much of a deviation from the source material, but wait, there's still more. It turns out Elrond was deceiving us all along with his alleged wisdom, for in fact all he wanted was to be a politician, an architect, not some elf lord tasked with keeping a ring of power. Oh no, sir, of course not. He's canny and ambitious. What the actual fuck? In Tolkien's work, there are very few instances of romance between elves and men. Tolkien reserved those occasions for deep, passionate relationships that stood out for resisting the most difficult tasks and dangers ahead. We have the case of Beren and Luthien, who had to rescue a Silmaril from Morgoth's crown in order to be allowed to be together, and Luthien even followed him to the Hall of Mandos to rescue him from death. Another one is in The Lord of the Rings proper, where Aragorn and Arwen must go through the War of the Ring to be together in the end. These stories are important, not mere trivialities, yet it seems Amazon is going to cheapen up even that by providing the Rings of Power with an impossible elf-man relationship between two invented and therefore lesser characters, one of them being the black-skinned elf that angers some of the fans, and the other a healer and single mother, because diversity matters and because modern day sensitivities have to be depicted every single fucking time. Fans will have to deal with all these things should they give the show a chance. It isn't done by accident though, but it's a very conscious decision. One of the executive producers behind this potential dumpster fire that's set to light up faster than any dry Christmas tree out there even mentioned, quote, "It felt only natural to us that an adaptation of Tolkien's work would reflect what the world actually looks like," end quote. But that isn't even the most disrespectful thing. No sir, of course not. Sure enough, it is disrespectful and it is stupid. But they even had the gall to create their project, thinking about writing the greatest novel J.R.R. Tolkien, the person who single-handedly created the high fantasy genre and developed a complete world with cultures, languages and races, never, ever wrote. Get fucked! Why would your fantasy realm have to depict modern world sensitivities? For whom is that important? What do you really mean when you say that Tolkien never wrote this novel? What do you mean to say that you are better than him? Because if we come from the fact that this is supposed to be made for fans, then it doesn't make any sense that you do this when fans love the work of that man. You know, and also they love and respect the man. You just have to look at some of the criticisms to the Peter Jackson trilogy when adding elves to the Battle of Helm's Deep, for example. And there were other things, of course, but this one rang loud amongst the fans, you know. The fact that Amazon is trying so hard to deviate from the source material is meant to anger the fans, and they were expecting it, because even the fucking article from Vanity Fair mentions the criticism drawn to the show by anonymous trolls. Please, are you this fucking dumb? To become successful, you need all the fan goodwill that you can get. With $2 billion spent on this project, I'd say it's necessary for this show to be as successful as it can be. Even if your boss is Jeff Bezos and money isn't an issue, it is necessary for this thing to be successful. But for that, you need the fandom on your side. So far, it is divided. Some people love this thing, even when they don't know anything about it, and others hate this thing, even when they don't know anything about it, or at least not as much. But for the people at Amazon Studios, sending a message seems more important than being successful, and their message, at least to me, is clear. We are narcissistic, that's what they are. You know, and they want to relish in the anger from the fans. Call me stupid if you will, but I think the intention with new shows is to entice people to subscribe to their Prime service, right? Or at least that's what is supposed to be. That's what you would expect from Disney Plus, from HBO Max, Netflix, you name them. It doesn't seem to me like they are doing just that with this attitude against Tolkien fans. We are talking about a very popular franchise, a very popular book, and of course this could get people interested. If they are betting on the normies, I can assure you that they won't be as interested if they see that fans are not even giving it the time of day. I don't know, it's just a hunch, just an opinion. Now, let me make this clear. It isn't my position to tell you how to feel about it, but when you start fighting with your friends or the community you were a part of because of this show, I'd question how worth it all really is. People left and right of this thing mock, bully, harass others because they are excited or because they hate this thing. There are even sites, forums, and social media all around who try to censor any quote-unquote negativity they think is against the show. So, people cannot criticize this thing, they can only cheer for it. That's ridiculous. I mean, if you ask me, it doesn't make any sense. And fake fan sites like the OneRing.net, for example, aren't helping matters either, with their idiotic comments about how criticizing the show or its allegedly woke characters is reminiscent of when Sir Ian McKellen was criticized for playing Gandalf while gay. And that never really happened. The motherfuckers at the OneRing.net are just trying to spin a narrative to get access to this shite show and leak Amazon's boots in the name of quote-unquote diversity. You don't believe me? You just look at their quote-unquote special transmission, their special broadcast for the Super Bowl thing, whatever, only because they were going to show the trailer and they had there also, sort of in an exclusive sort of way, the trailer. It's just pathetic. But now that we have had a first look thanks to the teaser that I just mentioned, there is even more doubt that this will be a good show. And just look at the comments on YouTube below the teaser. All of them copying the same Tolkien paraphrased quote about evil being unable to create, being only capable of taking that which God has created and corrupt it in a form of mockery. This coming from the Silmarillion proper, where it is described how Morgoth created the orcs trying to mock the children of Ilúvatar, God, who were the elves. Well, and later on also men. Amazon, way to inspire, way to go with your confidence, way to take fans under your wing. Care to call fan trolls once again, or go against what they love? Because believe me, if you continue, this pattern is going to repeat itself and more people are going to go and claim that you are not following the lore and do these things like the comments on this teaser every time that you post something on YouTube. Again, who can blame them? The effects look way too cheap for a $2 billion production. I mean, they look like they come from an early PS3 video game. And if you ask me, it's all too generic, and it doesn't really have any Tolkien vibe, you know? They could have very well used that footage and promote, say, The Witcher or another Game of Thrones show, and it would have just felt like it. It would have felt just like any other thing. Why? Because it's generic. It doesn't have any originality or any of the aspects and features that made Middle-earth so special in the Jackson films, you know? We don't have any of the landscapes that left every mouth at the cinema agape, you know? Or that quality that made this place come alive right on the screen, in front of your eyes. It looks and feels soulless, and it is sterile. And that, I think, is its greatest flaw. This show, just like orcs that Morgoth created to mock Ilúvatar's creations that I mentioned before, is a mockery of Tolkien's work. Plain and simple. Like orcs, who are somewhat lesser beings, this show is a lesser project with little to no understanding of the source material, therefore not even sticking to it, which is the only thing fans really want and have always wanted. There will always be people defending the destruction of culture, that's for sure, but they will fall silent if we refrain from giving these shows any attention. Yes, I am talking about it right now, but I do because I think it's important to comment on what they are doing, warning the audience, you guys, you my friends, you the viewers, and helping the community, because this is a community I care about. be sure that I won't be looking at this shite, not even sailing the high seas or something like that. I won't be paying any attention to it or reviewing the episodes, for instance. It isn't within the Tolkien canon, and I don't care about it. The only thing that I will do is send this warning, and that's just it. And I will stick to that. I will try to look for any information that can confirm that this is not going to be a nice show for all of you out there who are still doubtful about whether this is good or not, to be convinced and maybe not give it your time, because you will be wasting it. But also, I am not here to tell you what to do. I am not here to tell you how to feel. And I don't want you to just take a side for the sake of it. I want you to get as much information as you can so that you can make up your minds. And that's the important thing about this video. So you the viewer, what do you think about this show and the teaser, the pics, and the info from the Vanity Fair article? Let me know down below in the comments, and also let me know if you are interested in this show or if you are going to pass. What you think you're going to do with this show, or if you think that they are actually disrespecting the Tolkien canon, or that you don't care that they are not sticking to it and you want to give it a chance anyway, or that also fans, especially those that are too highly concentrated on Tolkien, are giving it just too much and it's not really that important. Let me know everything down below in the comments, and until next time everyone, peace out.